Okay, good day guys, good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. A gentle reminder as always to please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And of course, as always, we do appreciate the support. So right now we just want to talk a little bit about Serbia and Jamaica. Jamaica versus Serbia is scheduled to take place early Monday morning, right? And we have to talk about it. I want to talk a little bit about especially the just a little bit of what we might expect to see in this particular game from both the Serbians and Jamaica, and what we should see as well. So very first off the bat, it is very important, right, to note that this is not neither of these teams are at full strength, right? We are not at full strength, and the Serbians definitely aren't at full strength either, right? So none of these two teams are at full strength. With that being said, though, the Serbians on paper are still head and shoulders better than us, right? Head and shoulders above us, right? Their squad is their players, the players that are on this tour in Japan right now. For them, they are playing in accomplished leagues, right? In big leagues, in big teams, right? And most of them are starters for these respective teams. You have players who play in Serie A, right? They have players who play in the Bundesliga, players that play in Spain, right? And these players are starters, right? And a number of other top leagues in Europe, right? So right off the bat right there, we can see that they have the upper hand from the standpoint of, on paper, their team is better than ours. And I must say as well that we have some idea as to the team that Tapa will go for, right? But we really and truly don't really have much of an idea as to what the Serbians will go for. I was watching a video with Military Guna's channel, and one of the questions was posed to the guest host on the channel. What does he expect from the Serbians, right? And he didn't have an answer for a reason. For starters, this new head coach, this is what, his fourth game in charge, I believe, right? It's his fourth game in charge, and he has switched the formation slightly, right? And also, most of the personnel that he had available to work with him in the 3 games in the World Cup qualifiers are not available for this particular friendly, right? Some of the starters are there, right? But most of the starters and the best players are not there, right? Most of the backline is there though, with the exception of the goalkeeper and also a centre back. One of the 3 centre backs, if I'm not mistaken, isn't there, right? So I expect us to go with a 4-2-3-1 as always. Tapa likes his 4-2-3-1. Most times, Tapa uses a 4-2-3-1, and it's very rare that he uses another formation, right? And this will provide us with some bodies in the midfield, but also get enough players behind the ball, right? So I think it's a smart thing to do in this game. I do have an issue with it. Some people say to try and match the Serbians and go with a 3-5-2 on the ball and a 5-3-2 off it. To be fair, that isn't bad. It's not a bad suggestion, but the last time, if I'm not mistaken, we used 3 at the back on the ball and 5 at the back off the ball was against South Korea. That was a couple of years ago, right? So I would not advocate for us to be trying out new things in this particular game against a team that is so much better than us. And guys, you have to remember FIFA rankings as well. We don't want to go up there and end up, not being organized and all over the place and, end up getting a thrashing and falling in the rankings. I know the players are professional, but not all of them would be playing 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 at their respective clubs. And so some of them might not be used to it. And also, it's just not wise to try out a new formation, in my opinion, at this particular time in this particular game. Right? We should have we could have done that at some point in time against a weaker team. But right now, I think we should just stick to what we know and don't try and get too clever. Right? That's what I think we should do right now. Just stick to what we know and don't try and get too clever. So I personally, the way I see this game going for us is that we sit back and soak up the pressure and, try and look for opportunities on the counter, break and improvise on the counter attack. That's how I personally think that we should go about this game. And not only how I think we should go about it, I think that's automatically how the game will go, because the fact of the matter is they're a far superior team than us. To try and control the midfield against this particular Serbian team, it's just not wise. Especially this Serbian team that plays, a 3-5-2 sort of a formation, or a 3-4-3 as well under Stojkovic. Right? I just don't think it is wise to try and or to make an attempt to try and control the midfield. I think from beginning we should just sit back. I don't want to sound negative, but I think that's how the game is going to go, regardless of even if we go out there and try to, to control the game. I just don't think it's realistic. So again, we should just keep things simple and not try and overcomplicate things. Stay compact, stay organized, and disciplined in defense. And I also humbly suggest that we play 2 CDMs, which more than likely we will be forced to do because of the makeup of the squad over in Japan. But play 2 CDMs instead of a number 6 and a number 8. Right? Because we have seen Serbia play weaker teams. Right, we have seen Serbia play weaker teams, and they like to especially to operate in the hole, that space between the defensive line and also the midfield line. Right, their players like to get into those little pockets of space, link up and cause and create problems. By the way, out of Stojkovic's 3 games in charge of Serbia so far, I have watched 2 out of the 3 games. I didn't watch the game against Azerbaijan. I didn't get a chance to watch that particular game. But I did see the game against Portugal, and I did see the game against Ireland. It's kind of difficult to really, because here's the thing. It's different personnel, right? Could the tactics change because of the difference in personnel? Who knows? But against and even when you watch clips of the Azerbaijan game too, you could see, right, along with the game that I watched against Ireland, right, there's a lot of activity taking place in the whole with this Serbian football team, right? So I think we should use 2 CDMs to, basically to try and keep abreast of what the Serbians are doing in front of the defensive line, right, in terms of trying to secure that particular area of the pitch, or trying to secure that space in front of the defensive line, right? So I humbly suggest that we go with 2 CDMs rather than a number 6 and a number 8, right? Because as I said, man, especially against Ireland, they played with a 3-4-3. Right, and I realized that when you see them play with a front 3, usually the 2 wing forwards also like to play as, or well, I don't know if that's it appears to be a tactic that they play as the two wide players in the front three play as tucked in wingers, right? So if that is indeed a particular tactic that is deployed, we need to be very careful of activities in the hole, because when the players tucked in wingers rather, it's almost as if it's two number 10s they're playing with behind the striker, right? In that particular space between the defensive line and the midfield line, and they do a lot of link up play in that particular space and make runs off each other in behind, and a lot of link up play, give and goes, and that sort of stuff, intricate passing, and create and cause problems. So we need two number 6s that can man that area and man that area properly. It's also important to note as well that the Serbians are a very dynamic team, and I hear a lot of other YouTubers who are commenting on them saying this, right? And this is accurate. When you watch the team play, you can see that they are a very dynamic team. They can hurt you in a number of ways, right? A number of different tactics, attacking tactics, and even defensive tactics as well. But a number of different attacking tactics that they can employ and cause problems, right? I mean, they do generally try and play a possession-based ball game and employ different tactics within that particular style of play, right? Balls over the defensive line, through balls, right? The link up plays in the pockets of space between the defensive line and the midfield line, you know, through balls, link up plays, balls over the defensive line, right? Intricate passing, right? To break the lines. They will switch the ball out wide to put crosses into the box as well. And they are also very good in transition, right? As the Portuguese found out, right? They are very quick in transition. And if you give this team space, they will punish you, right? And you know, especially on the counter attack, there is a lot of space. Trust me, right? I mean, we give this team space, we could be in trouble. So we have to trap back if we do attack this team, right? Which obviously we want to do. We don't just want to sit back and for the entire 90 minutes, right? But if we attack this team, we have to know that, you know, we have to trap back, and we have to trap back very quickly. Because if you give this team space, man, they will punish you. Another particular thing that I realized, another particular feature that I realized with this Serbian team is that their left center back of the back three, Pavlovic, right? He likes to make driving runs into midfield as well, right? And he also can pick a pass as well. So we have to bear that in mind as well. He likes to make driving runs into the middle of the park or through the middle of the park, break the lines, and, you know, look for a pass. So we have to be mindful of that as well. Another feature of this particular Serbian team is that they do like to engage in a front press, right? Sometimes it's more intense than other times, but they at all times like to engage in a front press at a decent level of intensity, right? So we also have to look out for them, you know, pressing us high up the pitch and basically winning possession and, you know, catching us out of shape, right? We have to be mindful of that this is a tactic that they also employ. If memory serves me right, the goal that, because I watched the highlights against Azerbaijan, even though I didn't watch the match, the goal, one of the two goals that they scored against Azerbaijan was exactly what I just described to you, right? Pressing high up the pitch, won the ball, and caused, you know, obviously scored a goal in transition. They also like to switch the play a lot, right? Big switches from right to left, left to right. They like to switch the play a lot, and they also like to move the ball from side to side very quickly to shift the defense. And as I stated, they do like to engage in a front press. However, this is a team that they do press all over the park, right? They do engage in the press all over the park. To be fair though, most of the times, they're either doing a front press or a low block, right? But they also do engage in a midfield press from time to time. So we have to be mindful of that as well. Also, when I realized, well, in the Ireland game, I didn't see much of this, right? But in the Portuguese game, I did notice that when they were engaging in the midfield press, they were using a 4-4-2 formation, right? And then when they transitioned to the low block, they moved into a 5-3-2 formation. So that was interesting to note. And, this is a Serbian team as well that, they can play good, attractive football. They can play 1 and 2 touch football, and they can move the ball through the respective thirds of the field very quickly. So we as I say, we can't give them much time and space on the ball either. We have to work our socks off in this particular game. We have to work our socks off in this particular game. So that is from the perspective of what we have to be mindful of from an attacking standpoint, and what we can do to try and keep them out, and what we must look out for in order to be able to prepare ourselves to try and keep them out. From the attacking standpoint, right? We have to, in order to try and hurt the Serbian team, we have to transition very quickly. We have to transition very quickly. As I said in the Irish game, I noticed that whenever they lost the ball, they automatically reverted to a back five, right? And they had about 4 to 5 players engaging in the front press. Now, the problem with that is that there's a lot of space in the middle of the park, right? We're talking about balls over the top of the front line press, right? So if I didn't see much of that in the Portuguese game, I'll tell you what I saw in the Portuguese game. But if we do have, remember, there's a small window with Stojkovic as well, So we have to be mindful of that as well. So in the 2 out of the 3 games that I saw, in the Irish game, it was 4 to 5 players engaging in the front press, and they automatically reverted to a back five, right? And they were also tracking back, right, as soon as they lost possession of the football. So there was a lot of space in the middle of the park. If we see that against the Reggae Boys come Monday morning, right, we can deploy balls over the top and elude the front line press and get those 4 to 5 players out of the game, and basically have a lot of space to run at the Serbian defense. Right, one of the things I also noticed about when they dropped back into a back five when they lost the ball against Ireland is that they're very compact. They're very, 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 very compact when they do drop into a back five. And even against Portugal too, I noticed it, they're very compact, right? So there is space out wide that we can exploit to try and get crosses into the box, right? And by the way, the Serbians don't do well with defending crosses into the box, right? Their positioning and organization and tracking of runs and crosses into the box, is not the best. As a matter of fact, they have conceded 3 goals in their last 3 games with crosses into the box. They conceded 2 against Portugal and 1 against Ireland with crosses into the box. Diogo Jota, right, teeny tiny Diogo Jota scored headers in the game for Portugal against Serbia, right? So they're not very good at tracking runs on crosses into the box, and you can find space in the box and you can get on the end of a header, And the player that comes to mind for us is Andre Gray, right? It would be good if he could if we could get some crosses into the box for him and get on a couple of headers. and have him get on a couple of headers. But what I did notice against the Portuguese though, to be honest with you, when I think about it, I would be surprised if the ball over the top of the front line press would work, because what I saw against the Portuguese, was actually when they lost the ball, they still kept a back three, right? And the two wing backs went into the middle of the park to occupy the space in the middle of the park, right? So I don't know if it's Stojkovic. As I say, it's a small window we're looking at because Stojkovic hasn't been the coach for long. But I don't know if Stojkovic watched the tapes and saw the large amounts of space in the middle of the park and decided to switch things up. But here's the thing. If that is the case, and we're going to see a back three with the two wing backs occupying the space in the middle of the park, and then when they are transitioning into a low block, go back into the back five, a ball over the top of the front line wouldn't be what would cut it. It would have to be a longer ball, right, from the defense, basically over the entire Serbian team, because again, the wing backs would be occupying the middle of the park, right? There is space out wide. We saw it once or two. As a matter of fact, the first goal, off the top of my head, the first goal, the wing back did not track back quickly enough, and so there was a lot of space and there was no pressure on the cross, right? So a ball over the top, but it would have to be a much longer ball over the top. Not a ball over the top into the middle of the park, but a ball over the top, over the defensive line as well, into the spaces out wide that the fullbacks would not be occupying, or the wing backs would not be occupying, because they'll be occupying the space in the middle of the park, right? And the wing backs, as I said, we have to move quickly because we don't want them to track back and get into that shape with the five at the back. And there's still space, to be fair, out wide with the five at the back, because when they're playing five at the back, they play very, very compact. Not a lot of space between the five defenders. And also you have to bear in mind as well that probably Stojkovic is a risk taker, and he thought that he could get away with the space in the middle of the park against the Irish, a much weaker team. But he probably, thought to himself that, it would be suicide against a much better team in the middle of the park, like the Portuguese. So again, we don't know. We have to wait and see. I'm just telling you what I saw in those two games, 2 out of the 3 games that Stojkovic has coached so far. I don't know if he's still, well, it's fair to say that he'll obviously still be learning on the job, right? So it could be he's learning on the job. It could be he's a risk taker and try to take that risk against the Irish and not the Portuguese. It could be also that he's trying out different tactics, right? So we have to bear all of that into consideration, right? It's difficult to predict what the Serbian team will do. Even the Serbian vlogger and Military Guna, he himself found it difficult to predict because the coach has only been the coach for 3 games, the Serbian coach. And again, we have to move quickly when transitioning, because against Portugal, we noticed it a couple of times that they did not get back into the back 5 quickly enough, right? Because they had the 2 wing backs occupying the center of the park. And when transitioning into the low block to defend against the Portuguese did catch them out a couple of times in wide positions. Right, even if memory serves, 1 goal off the top of my head, I definitely know was conceded because of that. And if I'm not mistaken, the both goals off the top of my head, both goals were conceded like that. So we have to look at that as an option as well. And again, pressing Pavlovic is not only a defensive tactic, but it can also be an offensive tactic as well. Remember I said, guys, Pavlovic likes to drive the ball from the left center back position. They play out from the back. They play out from the back with Pavlovic a lot, right? A lot. And he takes the ball and he drives it right through the middle of the park, pressing him, winning the ball, and exploiting the space that is left unoccupied can also be an attacking tactic as well. And the final thing that I realized with the Portuguese game is that the Serbians, they played with a high line. And that kind of surprised me because they played they didn't play with a high line in the game against the Irish. Right? They did not. So again, I don't know if it's Stojkovic trying out new things, learning on the job, or he's being dynamic, or basically adjusting to the team that he is playing, right? So again, this Serbian team right now is kind of a little bit unpredictable because the manager has not been the manager for too long, right? So that's basically the keys to the game, I think, for the Serbia versus Jamaica. Right, it's gonna be a long 90 minutes, I think, for us, right? But if we stay disciplined, work hard, stay focused, I do believe that we could keep the scoreline down, and luckily we could probably get a result in this game. No better than a draw, right? I mean, we'll obviously be happy if we get a win, but honestly, the vast difference in the quality of the teams, I don't think it's realistic. I think that's more. I think we can hope for a win, but we shouldn't expect it. And I also think for a draw, we should hope for a draw. But I don't think we should expect one either. But hopefully they find us difficult to break down, and hopefully we can fight hard and get a result in this game. So guys, that's my 2 cents. Stay safe, take care, and until next time.